the ocean to see the sun rising bright in your eyes, to make sweet love with you on the Tideline, see your smile bright in the sky, to see the sun rising over the ocean, to see the sun rising bright in your eyes, to make sweet love with you on the Tideline, follow our footsteps, walking the line.
Okay, I said that I was going to try to cover every single release that Eric Faulkner does. And there was something in the back of my mind through all of this, and that was that I was putting little snippets of the song and then pointing people off to his website. And sometimes, you know, if it's on Bandcamp, I'll point people there. But something that was kind of getting at me was, are you always going to be able to just split up Eric's songs like that? It's not very polite. That's one thing. But the other thing is that, like, there's some songs that you just can't just split them up like that. There's not a teaser. The song is a whole, you know, so people have to listen to the whole. But typically I don't want to play the whole song because I want to send people off to discover more music. And so I am encouraging everyone to go off, and I'm going to have links to go off and discover more music and to listen to this song some more, and to also, if you can, donate for Eric to continue making perhaps an entire album's worth of music, right? And I'm going to do that. But this song was just too good for me to split it up. I was actually talking to my son about it because we were playing it, and we're like, you can't just splice and dice this one, you know? If I were to describe the song, I would say that it's kind of an acoustic version of a mix of The Alarm with Tom Petty, with Bruce Springsteen, and then obviously Eric's flair shines through. But I think the more important thing is that we have here an acoustic song. And I talked a long time ago about how way back in the early 70s, Eric was doing some acoustic stuff. And in many ways, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice, you know, back then to have stuck with that in some ways, right? And now here we are today. And here we have this great song. And so after I play the song, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. But I don't want to get in the way of the song because in this case, the music is the most important. I will also talk about a few revelations that came from the Hawick 2019 interviews that I have learned about. It's small bits of information. Stick around for that if you want. You don't have to. But here we go. Let's all listen to the new song by Eric Faulkner entitled Tideline. And in the future, I may cut this down to only half of the song, but I've asked if I can just put the whole song out there for now, and I think it's worthwhile to put the whole song out there. So let's listen together to this great new song by Eric, and afterwards I will talk about the song itself, and I will also talk about a few things that we learned from Hawick in 2019 that I did not reveal earlier. Here we go.
Some may burn. Well, I know about that. Live and learn. Some may choose, some may decide. Some do left, some do right. You better run, you better hide, you better dim the lights. There's a full moon rising tonight, and I was counting all the faces, spinning the lines, spoiling the view, trying to find a new horizon, fading away, and in the quiet of the night, when I think of it all, step in time, lose losing count of the days. I was out of words and I was out of rhymes, watching the tideline washing away and out of the sun, out of the blue. The planets aligned. I was talking to you. Some may curse and some may fight. Where I don't know about that, wrong is right. Some may live and some may die. The circle of life, circling by. The seasons turn, they come and go, bringing their highs, bringing their lows. There's a cruel wind blowing tonight. And I was walking on the tideline, counting the waves, washing away, watching my shadow in the sunset, fading away, fading away. And I was sick of the place, I was sick of the scenes, had enough of the passing goodbyes. There's not a poet alive who could find the words. Some may seek, you never know, some may find. And out of the sun, and out of the blue, the planets aligned. And I was talking to you. Rising over the ocean, to see the sun rising bright in your eyes, to make sweet love with you on the tideline, see your smile bright in the sky, to see the sun rising over the ocean, to see the sun rising bright in your eyes, to make sweet love with you on the tideline. Follow our footsteps, walking the line. Then out of the sun, and out of the blue, the planets aligned. I was talking to you. Some may shout and some may scream. I can hear a word, what it means. Some may want and some may need. It's a fact of life, some may bleed. Some may laugh, some may cry, some may close their eyes to see their footsteps on the tideline. Out of the sun, out of the blue, planets aligned. I was talking to you. Out of the sun, and out of the blue, the planets aligned. I was talking to you.
Okay, so there we have it. And the first time listening to that, we may not notice, and I didn't notice, but I was playing it back with my son, and we were listening. I was like, there's no percussion here. I don't think there's any bass. I think we have 3 guitars. One of them may be electric, and we've got them all blending in there, and it's great. And I did mention some other artists earlier where I said it's similar to some of their stuff. I think it's closest to The Alarm, to be honest. But the other thing that sets Eric off into a different realm, and it's not totally obvious here, but there is a Scottish little bit of thing going on here because a lot of the bass parts are being played by the acoustic instruments. and it's leading towards a drone, although it's not a drone. This really goes all the way back into the early 70s, into some of the stuff that he was doing and the influence from where he grew up. And that's what made that music back then so special, and it's still lending a hand today. Okay? It may be a small hand, and I may even be wrong about it, but I get that feeling about it, and that's that special thing that's coming through. It's that special thing about where someone grows up and the music they hear when they're growing up, right? So that's my feeling on it. And then there's the lyrics, and you're going to go to his website by clicking on a link that I'm going to put in the description, and then you can go through the lyrics. I do believe the lyrics are all on there, and you're going to be fascinated by that, and you can think about that for quite some time. So yes, I think everyone can have their own opinion on this song, but my main thing is that typically in pop music you have like this verse, chorus, chorus type of thing, right? And maybe a pre-chorus and stuff like that. This song kind of floats out there, right? It's not the kind of stuff that I can write, and it's not the kind of thing that someone who's just starting out can write. It's got a very natural kind of approach to it, He's just going where he wants to go at each part, but there's definitely a chorus in there. But anyway, a great song. It adds to this huge collection of music that he has written in the past. And, also, I'm going to say the production is great. That mixing of all of the instruments and then with the vocals is great. So there we go. I hope everyone loves this song. Like, wow. Now, the things that I want to talk about, because I didn't cover this in the past, the second half of the Hawick 2019. There were only a few things that I really wanted to talk about, okay? One of them is, there is a song that apparently he has played live somewhere. And I do not believe, you see that little dog down there? She's going to sleep. I do not believe this has been recorded somewhere. Like, I can't find it. And I think it's called Perfect Symmetry or something like that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But at the time of that Q&A session, this was the song that he was most proud of. And I've never heard it. And someone mentioned in the audience, oh, you played that live one time. That was a great song. So I'm looking forward to hearing that when it actually comes out. So that was one thing. Another thing, people were asking him who he likes to listen to. And I found this to be fascinating. He does enjoy listening to music, but he would not really say that listening to other people's music is a huge pastime. And the reason I think that he was saying that is that the problem becomes whenever you're writing something, you start to question whether or not you wrote it or you heard it and all this other stuff. And it's so funny. And I can relate to that as a novice in the sense that I listen to less music now than now that I'm trying to write music than I used to. And I'm very purposeful. Like when I want to listen to something, I know there's a reason that I'm listening to it, right? And I think I mentioned in a video recently that friends of mine, they won't even write a song because they believe it's already been written and they don't trust their gut instincts, right? And it's that complicated and it's that difficult. So it was very interesting to hear someone who had written so many songs also be saying, that this is one of those things. What else? There was a thing about the Scottish band that he was in, and there was mention of, did the manager, was the manager ripping off the band? And I found this very interesting because I read something from way back in, I guess, the 70s, where there was this remark, I think it came from Eric, saying, listen, our manager has 15% of some type of bucket. I don't know if it's a publishing bucket or which bucket it is, right? But he's not living up to that, right? And so there was this frustration. But it turns out in this conversation from Hawick in 2019 that the manager never actually collected any of that money anyway. So the thought that that's where the money went seems to be completely wrong. So there was that. There was some information about the recording sessions that included Clem Burke in the Rollers album that never happened. And I do believe that he was saying that those recordings are on like dual either 12 or 24 track things. And it's going to be very hard to get that stuff out of there. Now, I can be corrected if I'm wrong on that, right? So there was that. What else was there? I guess there was more information there than I thought. Let me think for 1 second here. Oh, yeah. So one big thing, and this is important to me, and I think this should be important to any fans. There was a question about a bucket list, like what is on your bucket list? And it makes total sense to me what his response was. And his response was, well, my bucket list is to have the songs that I've actually written and recorded on the radio. I'd love to hear that, you know? And of course, who wouldn't, you know? But in this case, I think it is a very special case. So we're not talking about just anyone. We're talking about a person that wrote literally dozens of songs for one of the biggest bands in the world. And then much like, you know, so many performers of that time were banned from radio airplay. And then yet has written, you know, dozens and dozens of great songs, saying, I would like to hear my music on the radio, and why not? It is, it's hard to digest, you know, for me, because you hear all these great songs that he has written and produced, etc., and it's hard to digest that they aren't played, you know, but there is a lot of competition. And then there's a lot of bias and all this other stuff. But I think going forward, a thought that I have in my mind, like everyone knows that I had this thing recently with a very good song that Phil Hendricks has done, right? And I encourage people to, especially in the UK, call up the radio stations and ask for this song. This is a great song. There's no reason not to ask for it. And I think that the same can be done for some of Eric's songs. But, you know, we can't all be out there, you know, asking for, you know, this is a huge collection of music that he's written, right? So it's something to think about for the future. His music deserves to be on the radio. Oh, my goodness. Like, I can't even conceive of how much. But that is a topic for another day. So those were the big talking points. I really appreciated listening to it. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys Eric's new song. This one blew me away. That's why I couldn't split it up. The entire song is in this video. I may change that in the future because I don't think it's entirely fair to just have it here. But I think people will actually go to Eric's website in order to avoid having to listen to me. So there, that's a good point, right? Have a good night. Thanks for watching.